So we're in your consumer math in chapter 10, section 5, and we're going to be talking about installment plans. Installment plans may mean making payments at regular intervals, usually monthly, including interest in that. Of course, they're going to charge you interest for being to use installment plans instead of paying cash up front, right? And they'll tell you the number of months it's going to last for you paying these installment plans. Of course, you really want to not have to finance, right, with installment plans if possible. But sometimes, especially for house mortgage payments or maybe even car payments, we don't have the cash up front. So installment plans seem to be the way to go with financing either a car or a house, those two things especially. So borrowing this money, it's basically installment plans is borrowing money. They have a computation basically giving you a finance charge up front, what they're going to finance you to be able to do this, and for this service and onto interest. So they're going to put their interest in, and they're going to put it all probably into a coupon book, which you can pay each month, that coupon book. And this actually gives you credit too, because a credit score, I should say, not credit, but a credit score, because if you pay your payments on time, you will not have to pay late fees and other fees, right? And further on insurance. So it's so important that you pay on time with installment plans. With installment plans, the actual rate of interest, though, is higher as you go. And that's what we're going to be talking about now, because you think, oh, I'm going to be charged at a certain amount of interest. Say I'm going to be charged at 10% interest. Well, really, you're going to be charged a lot more than that, because as time goes, you're going to be paying it down. And as you're paying it down, the interest rate is going to be going up. And so they have a way of calculating this. And so you'll see here with your problems, and it gets confusing at first. You think, what? How did my insurance rate go up? Or how did my interest rate go up? But you'll see how that happens. As you pay down, you'll be paying a higher interest rate as you go past your average monthly use, right? So we go by the half. So let's look at the model problem here. So this will tell you how in doing this. First of all, the problem is Sue Parker borrowed $600 from a loan company for 12 months at 10% interest. How much did she pay, and how much was each monthly payment? Okay, first of all, you always have to use our formula. This is the main formula you use on interest, because it says interest equals PRT. So what again is PRT? Principal. That's how much you are borrowing. Your rate would be the percent that they're charging you, and the time would be how long. This would be 12 months, which would be a year. Now, so we find that. We've put down 600 times 10%, which would be turn it to a decimal point, 0.10 times 1. And so you'll see the interest that you pay on $600 would be $60, right? That's just straight on interest rate, right? But now to find the monthly payments, okay, you take that principal, and then you're going to have to add in your interest rate. So you're going to be paying $660, and then you divide that by 12, and you'll be paying $55 a month payment. Okay, that's how they do that. But as time goes, you'll be paying this down, and as you pay this down in this 12 months, you'll be paying more interest towards the end. And at the bottom, there's a ratio that says percent of interest, yearly interest paid over average monthly use of loan. So that's monthly use of loan means basically they're going to take the average of that, which would be halfway point. And so the halfway point of paying $600 would be at the halfway point you should have it down to $300. And so in that $300, it means basically you're going to pay higher interest on $300 than you would be on $600. So yearly interest paid. So find the approximate. Let's go on to the next page. The next problems. So now, remember, this is only about installment plans. We're not talking about financing installment plans, which are pretty common. So really you need to know this, because you can get ripped off if you don't realize how much you're paying and thinking, installment plans are pretty good. You know, I paid installment plans for a backup, but they charged me no interest. It's really good when they charge you no interest. Then you can pay installment plans for nothing, and they're just doing it. You know, they charge you up front a little fee of, I think it was $7, or I don't know, it wasn't very much, and then you go ahead and do it, which is fine. But otherwise, you need to know what the interest rate is and how much the interest rate will change, you know, and how much more you'll be paying. So here we have, find the approximate rate of interest Miss Parker paid on model problem 1. And so to find the approximate rate of interest, you're going to find the average monthly use. So that means you're going to find the average that you're going to be paying on interest. Remember, at the beginning, you are going to pay the full on, you'll pay 10% interest is what the interest was. But at the end, you're going to pay more interest, right? So they want to know what the halfway point is. And so you take $600, remember that was how much she financed, and you're going to divide that into half, because in half the time, you're going to have it paid down to only $300. But you're still paying the same payments, right? So now they want to know, what percent of interest are you paying at the halfway point? So you're paying the percent of interest is paying that $60, but now it's over $300 instead of $600. And what percent is that? Now at the halfway point, you're paying 20% interest instead of 10% interest. So they're making a lot more on you during the halfway point. So just remember to always half that first number when they're asking for the approximate rate of interest over installment plans. Okay, very easy if you just think about it. Okay, let's do this next one. Choi Wabana borrowed $2,000 from a loan company for 24 months at 14% interest. How much interest did he pay? Well, you always can find interest by the PRT. Interest equals the principal, which is $2,000. The rate is always a percentage, equals 14% rate. And then 14% rate, that's your rate you paid. And what time? 24 months is 1 year, right? Or 2 years, I'm sorry. 2 years. This is over 2 years. 12 months is 1 year. Sorry about that one. And so to find the amount of interest, use that, and basically calculating this out. And you can use a calculator right now if you like. You find out the interest paid was $560 interest, okay? Now they want to find the annual amount of interest. You divide it by 2, because that'd be the halfway point, the average. So you divide 560 by 2 and you get $280. That's for your halfway point. You already paid half of it off. And so now you're paying, now divide this by 2 is $280. And so to find the average monthly use of the loan, you divide the principal now. So you divide that principal and you'll get, divide that by half too, because you paid off half, right? And you get $1,000, okay? And so now you say the percent of interest up here, 280 divided by 1,000, you'll get that percent as 28% now. So instead of 14%, you're going to be paying 28% towards the end. So you won't have too many problems of these, but just remember, if you're paying by installment and you're paying by financing it in installments, you're going to be paying a lot more interest, just because as you're paying it down, the interest is going to be going up. So let's take a couple examples here, and then we'll be done with this. Okay, this here, find the amount of equal monthly payment. You're going to do your PRT there, you know, on those. And then this one here says find the approximate rate of interest for installment loans. Okay. I'm going to do number 6 because it says approximate. That means you're going to divide it in half. And so here's how I did this. Let's look at number 6. Right here, number 6, loan. You have a loan. You're getting loaned for $1,200, right? Is your loan for something. Your time is 1 year, and your charge is going to be $180 charge. Now, what they want to know is what's your percent going to be now. And so, in order to do this, we're going to say, well, okay, first of all, you're going to look here, your charge. Look over here, $600 loan. You do half of that loan for half the price of installment, which would be approximate annual rate would be approximate, maybe average. So you take half of $1,200 and you get $600. Time is a year. The charge is still $180. Now you do your interest equals PRT. $180. The principal is $600. Of course, I leave the R there because that's what we're trying to find. And then the T is 1 year. So I'm going to basically, whenever you're asking for the annual rate, you're going to ask for a percent. So you're always going to have a ratio here. So basically I have 80 equals 600 times 1 times R. But we want to find that R. In order to find that R, we can get rid, first of all, we can get rid of this 1 because we won't need that anymore. But you have 600, so you say 180. And in algebra, you take 600 at the bottom here. You're going to divide this now, 180 by 600. So this is going to be our ratio here. And that ratio is going to be our answer. But of course, we can you know, take this ratio and make it smaller by, first of all, getting rid of that 0. Then you have 18 over 60. And you keep dividing, you'll come under 3/10. Well, that's 3/10, 30%. So find our approximate annual rate is going to be 30%. So approximately, instead of paying, you know, instead of paying the interest, you know, the interest and the beginning, we're going to end up paying an approximate rate of 30%. They probably charged you 15% in the beginning or so, but now we're going to pay halfway through, we're going to pay 30%. So let's do number 7 here real quick too, so we know how to do these. So we have a loan of $750 we're borrowing. And we want to know, again, find the approximate annual rate. So that means average. So when you take average, you're going to half it. And so anyway, so the loan is $750 for 1 year, and the charge is going to be $90, right? So we want to find what is our percent. So 750, we're going to divide by 2, and we get $375. So this is the principal we're going to go by now, because it's going to be half, because we're doing the average. And so now we have the interest, which we're looking for, or the interest we know we're going to get $90 interest here. And then we know now we're paying on $375 because we already paid off half of it. And then 1 year we just put 1, but we're looking for this R. So to do this R in an algebra way is basically, okay, this would be 375. You take multiplied, so you say 90 divided by 375 will equal R. We can get rid of that 1, right? So 90 over 375. You can divide that on your calculator, or you can simplify it. I simplified it over 6 over 25, and I divided this out, and it came to 0.24 or 24%. So it's not too hard. Pretty soon we're going to have to use our calculator in a lot of these. They get pretty complicated, but these are pretty easy. You could do them on paper, you know. So number 9 is the loan. $2,600 for a loan, and we want to find the average, the approximate annual rate. That's, you know, what approximately are you going to be paying in percent? You know, they tell you you're going to pay this, but you're really paying this. So what are you really paying? So you take the loan, you divide it in half, you get $1,300. So this is what I'm going to, it's $1,300 here, and it's for 2 years. So you got to make sure now you have a 2 in there too, and the charge is $286. So here we did the problem. So we have PRT equal interest. So we have the principal is $1,300, and we have the R there. This is what we're looking for. and we have a 2. So I said 1,300 times 2 is 2,600. R equals 286. 286. And so now we're going to get rid, to find that R, you got to get rid of this and put it at the bottom. So R equals 286. The denominator goes down here. So this is going to be, this is our ratio, which we're going to move it over so you can see. So we're going to look at this ratio. Well, I went and simplified it to 143 over 1,300, or you could do it on your calculator. Either way, it will come up with 0.11 exactly. And that's a decimal point, so you change that to percent and you get 11%. See, these are not so hard. Just remember, when you have average or annual rate that you're paying, you're going to half that first rate, because that means by the time half time comes, you'll be paid half of it. And so they want to know, what will you be paying then? And that's averagely the percentage that you'll be paying. So it's not really hard.